Hi, everyone. Welcome to our third, is it third? Yeah,
Mhm.
third Dream Team chat
Yeah.
for 2025. And in January, um, I am really pumped about this topic. I know she is too, but coming back from leadership, just got back from leadership this last week, which was in Cancun with I think like 200 something leaders, plus a lot of our favorite people from home office, including Dan, Heidi, Orville, Deb. All of them were there, and it was just a really awesome time to talk about business and talk about moving forward, the momentum forward, and what our focus should be as consultants and where we're headed, and just all of that stuff, right? Wrapped up into one. And took a lot of really great nuggets home with me, and there's just like a lot of stuff floating around in my heart and in my head and things that I want to put into practice. And so, in thinking about what this dream team chat should look like and what we should talk about, it was kind of the merging of what they talked about at leadership, some of the topics that they talked about, paired with missionary work that I'm getting ready to do, which seems like such a weird thing, but I promise you, it like very much goes together. Like it feels very much like it's like the same path, just different playing fields, if that makes sense. And so these two things, this topic tonight and our sneak peek into our topic next week, is going to be very similar. But tonight we're talking about our customers and how we are as consultants for them, and using these four simple breakdowns. But that was inspired by my missionary work that I'm getting ready to do. And so I kind of had this epiphany, that this just fits so well with how we can be as consultants to our customers, and then how we can be as consultants looking with big business minds and looking forward to growing our team, right? And as being a leader. And so that's what we'll talk about next week. So I hope you guys will come back for that. But tonight we are talking about this idea of, this is what they talked about at leadership. It was moving from our businesses being transactional to transformational. And it was a really cool way that Dan like painted this picture of, especially coming out of the pandemic in 2020, it just kind of naturally fell into this position of transactional, because during 2020, if you were here in the pandemic, sales were kind of like drop of a hat. Like we could post something and it would sell, and things were selling out, and it was like, since he was hotcakes, and it was going so fast, and it was moving at such a pace that even people who had, like me and Alex, who had really great customer service leading up to that, it was hard to keep up, right? We felt like we were doing great for customer service because we were like posting and people were wanting, and so it was like there was this like false idea that we were doing something transformational, right? But the reality of it is that we fell into this routine. And I'm speaking for myself, and I've had to slowly work myself out of this, but fell into this routine of like just posting things and expecting sales to happen, and not really focusing on making the interaction between me and my customers not feel transactional. And I feel like I have to take it a step above what I was doing, because I still provide customer service, right? I still like package their orders and things like that, but like I wasn't cultivating the same type of relationships that I was doing prior to 2020. And so, Dan was speaking to the greater consultant audience, and especially to leaders, about how to get back to making Sensi feel transformational, and giving our customers that experience. And so that idea paired with this these four L's, and I actually changed one of them, but like the four L's that I got from, my missions meeting that I had this week, I feel like has come together, and we can speak on, these four different ideas that will lead to a transformational experience for our customers. And so that's our focus tonight. And I love a good like breakdown, and I love something that's like easy to remember, like an acronym or like the four L's. And so you can always go back and you can start at square one, and these kind of build on each other, right? I like those too. I like when it's like, okay, I'm working on this. Okay, the next step is this, right? And so I feel like that's a super easy step step-by-step process. And you can also evaluate yourself in this and say, okay, I'm really good at loving my customers. Am I listening to them? Okay, I can work on that a little bit. My next step would be leading, right? And so you can take each of these pieces and really pinpoint what you're really good at. And then you'll find your areas of focus. And so I hope that you guys will kind of take a moment, soak all that in, and definitely be working on that. And I'd love to hear once we go through these or as we're going through them, if something is like, yep, I'm really great at that, or that's what I need to work on, tell us in the chat. Would love to know. Because I have areas that I know I need to work on. So I'm going to start with love. We kind of already shared the graphics. So it's going to be love, listen, lead, and launch. And we're going to detail, I'm going to detail the first two, and then she's going to detail the last two, about what that actually looks like for your customers. So the first L, being love, is basically how are we serving our customers? How are we caring for them? How are we loving on them, right? And I think that Scentsy has provided us a really great opportunity to be able to love on our customers authentically, right? Because we get to set up our business however we want. So our interactions with our customers are truly ours to cultivate. And so caring for your customers, there is really no like, this is exactly how you do it. Like this, there's no instruction manual. It's going to look different for each person, or it's going to be, you know, a certain, like you'll take something and make it, tweak it a little bit and make it your own. And it may look similar to somebody else's, but the piece of it is that it's you and it's your customers and your relationships. And so your unique opportunity to love on your customers and build that relationship and care for them, is so important. And that's why it's number one, because, you know, we've talked about before, customers will buy from, continue to buy from, join with, or, you know, host with consultants who they know, like, and trust. And I just kind of bundled all that up into you loving on your customers, because once your customers feel loved, right? Once they feel like, wow, my Scentsy consultant really cares about her business, really cares to be consistent, really cares enough to package up my order or deliver it to my door or let me know that my order has shipped, or, you know, just those little things that you may already be doing in your business, but those are the ways that we get to show love, right? It's not like love bombing, like, you know, sending them like, I love you text messages. It's literally in the way that you care for them through your business. Okay. And one of the big areas that we can do this is giving them access to who we are on social media, in our customer groups, on, you know, in person, whatever, through communication, giving them access to see that we love what we do, right? Because you can be doing all of these things. I don't know that somebody would put in all this effort if they really didn't like their job, but also those two things won't match up if you are packaging their orders really pretty, checking in with them every once in a while, but you're like never talking about your business. It's like you just follow up with them at the end of the month because you need the $200, right? And you may package up their order and deliver it to them, but then they don't hear from you for another month. And you're nowhere to be found on social media, right? And so they're not really sure if you actually like what you do, or if it's just like a means to an end, or if it's just something, it's another thing to check off your box, right? And I'm not saying you have to like live hard, die hard by Scentsy, but if you're here, my hope would be that you enjoy business and you enjoy Scentsy and the products. And so part of loving your customers well would look like showing them that you love your business so much. And it's this idea of like, I love Scentsy, and Scentsy fills my cup in such a way that it's like pouring, overflowing, and that overflows to your customers, right? And so let that desire and that joy to be a part of this business overflow to your customers, and let that be seen, right? I know when I have conversations with my customers and they're saying, you know, like, I really love the way you package this order, or I'm really grateful for that email, or whatever. I get to tell them, I'm so glad, like, I really appreciate the support and I really love what I do. And this is how I show that, right? So like this is a mirror of my heart for my business. And that makes your customer feel loved and cherished as a part of your business. And so I was going to go somewhere else with that, but I forgot. in addition to you loving them, giving them access to you loving what you do, in turn, it gives you permission to then show them the products and the things that you love inside your business, right? Like showing them your favorite wax and telling them about it, sending them samples, all those things, and getting them to love Scentsy the way that you do, right? Getting them to fall in love with Scentsy the way that you have. And hopefully eventually, you know, it leads to them hosting or them joining. But in the beginning, it's that I always think like, I want this customer to love this product as much as I do. So I'm going to continue to have conversations about it. I'm going to continue to encourage them to try this scent or whatever, because I want them loving these products as much as I do. And so again, if you love something and if you love somebody, you're going to tell that person about what you love, right? It's no different than you texting your best friend, like, oh, I got this really good coffee at Dutch Bros today. You should try it, right? It's really, really good. Like, that's the same way you should be treating your customers. And then the last point of the love part of this is that when you love on your customers and you are loving them well, whatever that looks like, right? There's like, it's hard to have a measurement of that because it is unique to you. And it's a feeling. It's a feeling for them, but you will know it because you create loyal customers. You create people who are not going anywhere, right? For example, I have this customer who I've had for a while. She started ordering me because her friend at work, no, her friend at work, her friend's husband at work was talking about Scentsy, and she got referred to me through him. He doesn't buy Scentsy, his wife does. She started ordering from me. She's not a super regular customer, right? So I wasn't sure if when I moved to Texas that she would follow, but she does. She orders once every couple of months, maybe. I have an open party link for her orders, whatever. We recently just closed an order for her. And I said, do you want me to open up another one? And she's like, well, you know, I don't have a lot of people who buy it. And I said, no skin off my back to just open it. If you have people to order, perfect. If it's just for you, that's okay. But at least it goes somewhere and you can get the rewards later. And she's like, oh, that's so great. Thank you so much. And I'm like, no, thank you. Like, I really appreciate your support and your business. And like, I hope you love your goodies when you get them. And she's like, yeah, you've got a loyal customer for life. And I'm like, dang, I feel like I have done the bare minimum, right? Per my customer service standards, I've really done the bare minimum with her, right? I offered her a host shopping link. I check in with her every now and then. She gets my emails. I let her know about flash sales every once in a while, like pretty bare minimum. But the things that I did in the beginning and the things that I have done consistently with her have created a loyal customer. She knows that I love her and that I appreciate her support so much, right? And so in the loving process, you will know that you are loving your people well when it creates loyalty. I have to make a disclaimer here. Not all customers who you show love to are going to be loyal, okay? You are going to have people who buy from you a few times and then nowhere to be found. You're gonna have people who buy from you once and you provide really, I've had that happen so many times.
Yeah,
right?
it's like I'm pulling out the red carpet for you and I never hear from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
totally.
It's not always a reflection of you, and not everybody is going to be loyal, right? That's just how this business is. But if you can look back in your Scentsy history and see a handful or a couple of people who have stuck around through and through, then that's a sign to you that you are doing something very well and that your customers feel loved. Because I promise you, Scentsy customers are not sticking around for consultants who are not doing and making them feel special.
Totally.
Like, there are too many Scentsy consultants out here doing the most. They can go somewhere else. And so if you have people sticking around, you're doing something right. That does not mean everybody, okay? But in that piece of it, in creating that loyalty, it leads us to the last two parts of this 4L thing that we've got going on that Alex is going to talk about. But I want you to understand that that loving part is key, okay? That loving part creates the building, the foundation. It creates the foundation for leading and launching, okay? The second part, the listen part, the second L, it may seem like this should be part of the love, because like if you love somebody, you should be listening to them. But our job as Sensi consultants is not only to roll out the red carpet and create a great customer service opportunity or to follow up with our customers or whatever, but there's this really key part that I feel like is kind of the difference in transformational and transactional, and it's the listening part of it, right? It's the actually listening to what our customers are saying or not saying, right? Listening to the needs, the problems that they have, and helping to provide solutions. Okay. And so to me, the love and listen part go hand in hand, and it should naturally come together, but we can superficially love on people without ever listening to them, right? So the listening part is key to being a good consultant, and to loving your customers well, I believe. And you can do this by very simply learning what they love and what they don't love. And it's like, to me, it seems so easy in this business because it's like, oh, I sent you that sample last week. Did you like it? Right? Like, yes or no. And it's very easy in today's world of technology to make a note of that. Am I great at this? No, this is an area I need to be better at. I need to be better. I'm a good listener, but I'm not good at remembering. And I have tools that could help me remember, but I choose not to use them. Full transparency. So, but taking what you know about yourself and what your customers are saying to you and utilizing that information to then, guess what, turn around and love on them, right? So if your customer says, I love Luna or I love Cozy Cardigan, and you next week send them a sample of the Cozy Cardigan Scentsy Soak, guess what? Your customer is going to feel so loved by you. They're going to go, oh my gosh, you remember that I love Cozy Cardigan, right? That listening aspect is not that hard, but the world is noisy. We are noisy and we forget and we don't do the simple things that can lead us back to loving them well and listening, right? So the one piece of it is learning what they love and don't love per Scentsy, right? So the Scentsy products that they're loving, what they're not loving. A really good tactic that I have used from time to time is like, if I want to reach out to a customer, but I don't want to just ask if they need a refill, I'll be like, hey, what is your favorite Scentsy product right now that you're using or that you loved, right? And just to get the conversation going. And I learn something about them. Which leads me to my second part of the listening is creating that connection that is built off of you listening about their life, about who they are, right? And social media makes this so easy, but it can also be very overwhelming, and I get that. But that's why you have access to them through one-on-one communication. So you can be texting your customers, asking how their day is going, what's new. I like to ask my customers, how can I be praying for you this week? Like if I'm following up with them, and just learning about who they are, how their life is going, what's new with them, what's not great with them. Like those simple questions, those simple insights can provide you. It may seem very pointless to you, right? It may be like, oh, they just got back from vacation, like cool, right? But every little piece of information they give you is insight into who they are, but also it's like a connector dot, right? Or I always think of Inside Out with the little like memory balls, and it's like, and it gets like plugged away. And that's something that you can use, not necessarily, I mean, you may not be like, how am I going to follow up with their vacation thing? But I promise you, there will be a time where they're going to say something and you can bring it back to Scentsy later or in that moment, right?
Or just trust that building the connection outside of Scentsy is loving them well.
Right.
And it will come back in other ways.
Yep.
Even if you don't ever mention the vacation Scentsy related.
Right. 100%. Because when's the last time Target called you and asked you
how your kid is doing?
Yeah.
If your kid feels better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. All that medicine you bought for your kid, are they doing better? Like, no, Target ain't never done that. So that is another way, a unique opportunity that you have as a consultant to lean into the open communication that you have And social media is a great place to start if you like feel nervous, right? I know there's ways that you can like group your people. Some people do that and I love that. I don't have the patience to figure it out, but like you can like
Great list.
create lists so you only see your customers on your Facebook, which I do love that. But sometimes I'll just like go and search for people and then I'll like look at their stuff to see what they're up to and I'll comment on some things. And then in my follow up, I'm intentional, like, oh, I saw you got a new dog. He's so cute, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but listening and learning about them. Because as me, I'm like putting my life out there all the time on my VIP group and whatever. So I feel like, and in my emails, it's like they're getting a lot of who I am, and that's important. And that breaks down walls, right? It
It
gives them
allows them.
permission,
Yeah.
yeah, to like open up and know it's a safe place because I'm being real, I'm being honest about what's going on. Um, and I've had actually customers text me about my cat. My cat passed away, and I had customers reach out to me about my cat, and I had so many comments on that post that I made about him, and so that connection point, you being real, you being honest, you being authentic, you sharing your life with them gives them permission to do it too. And so if you need a place to start, start there. Start with you, right? Um, and connect on more than just Scentsy, which is like a really big piece of this because you're not just a Scentsy person. You're not just a Scentsy gal. You're not just a consultant. Okay. You have a lot more going on. You are made up of a lot more than just wax and warmers. And your customers are in a special group that deserves to know more about you than just that. That's being transactional.
Mm-hmm.
You may know every aisle in Target, but you don't know the CEO or the manager, right? Or the story of the cashier who's ringing you up, right? So take that opportunity to lean in and listen to what your customers are saying, what they're not saying. If you haven't heard from a customer in a while, maybe you reach out to them and say, hey, I'm just checking on you. Like, haven't seen you. Is everything okay? Not you haven't bought from me in 6 months, so you're not getting Happy Mail no more, right? Just, hey, haven't heard from you. Haven't seen you on social media. Is everything okay? Right? Um, it is an amazing way to build connection, relationships, and to give you more opportunities to love people well.
Awesome. Yes. And so I just want to add before I go to the last two L's is, oftentimes when you're out and about, right, and you meet someone new or you're introduced to someone new and you guys just like connect, you guys just like vibe. You feel like that person is a like a soul sister, right? You just have a really great connection with them. And that is because whether it was them or you, there was a vulnerable moment where a wall was broken down and you guys were able to connect on something. Okay. And then you leave that conversation and you're like, man, that person was so cool. I love that person. Those are the opportunities that you have every day with your customers. You have the opportunity to like truly build that connection to where people are thinking of you just in like everyday random events because of connection pieces that you've shared or that they've shared with you guys. So I know that Bree and I talk about connection a lot, and that is truly because it is that important and crucial for your business to be transformed and not just transactional.
Yeah.
So love that. Okay, moving on to the last two L's. These are going to be a little bit shorter, but very important. Okay, after you have really focused on loving your customers well, which I'm being honest, I think that our group does that really well. I feel like you guys have a really strong grasp on how to take care of your customers really well and love them. The listening thing, again, same. I could take better notes. I could have a better system for that. But these are skills that again are built off of one another. So if you're like, yeah, I'm kind of rocking at my customer service, like I actually feel really confident in that. That is something I feel very confident in is my customer service and how I love on my customers. But then if the next step of that is to listen well, well, yeah, I could definitely improve in that. I could go connect with my customers outside of Scentsy more. I could go have more conversations outside of just Scentsy or follow-ups. And so that's an area for improvement, right? So you can build on these things. That's something I love so much about Scentsy is 100% all skills that can be learned and improved over time. Okay. But once you have that loving well and listening well down, that is a huge stepping stone to then what's next for you. Okay. And that is leading them to Scentsy, leading them to more, leading them back to you, keeping them coming back, because that is our goal. We don't want to love our customers well and listen to them well and get connected to them for them to just jump ship and we never see them again. Okay. We don't want one-time customers. We want loyal customers, customers that say, you're my Scentsy girl for life, right? Or alternatively, we want customers that then turn into consultants that are doing Scentsy with us, or hostesses for parties, or Scentsy clubbers, right? Like, connection and relationship is so important. And also, we are business consultants. And also, we have business goals, right? We are not therapists, so we are not solely getting paid to love our customers well. It is important, I would say mandatory for a growing business, but like our end goal is for it to circle back to our business, right? And so we do want to be leading them back to us all the time. That is our goal. Our goal is to give them calls to action to then engage with us more. Okay. So it's our job to make it easy. It is our job 100% to make it easy for our customers to come to us. And there are many different ways to do that. So I will give you guys a few examples, but in just a broad term is communication. Be in contact with your customers and your network often, and not just often, but consistently. Okay. Not just once a week, right? Maybe every day, maybe a few times a week, whatever that looks like for you. Consistency is going to be important across the board, but having a way to communicate with them, to give them access to you, to lead them to the other avenues to buy, host, join, that's the goal. Okay. So communication can look like your VIP group, right? It can look like one-on-one communication. It absolutely should look like one-on-one communication. Okay. That can look like emails. That can look like catching up with them through their Facebook posts or Instagram or TikTok or whatever social media platform you are. Okay. That can be in real life, face to face with your neighbors, with the people in your community, right? Communicating with your customers is of the utmost importance. I would go ahead and say that you really don't have much of a business if you do not have some form of communication with your customers, because then how the heck are they even ordering? Right? So it is very important that you know, and a lot of this leading part relates to systems in your business, right? And systems can be this big scary word for basically just like what you do. Okay. So what do you do to communicate with your customers? Okay. That is important because that is what they're seeing consistently. That is where they're going to get their information from, right? You have to be communicating with them to pull them into who you are and what you're loving and the little joys that you find, so then you can connect with them and build those relationships. Okay. And then additionally, calls to action. Okay. So like, for example, Bree and I both do this all the time, is when we are posting like in our VIP groups, right? Almost always, I will say probably 90% of the posts that we make in our VIP group, maybe 80, say something at the end like, drop a heart emoji in the comments if you want one. Comment below if you need it. Order closing X day, message me to order. You know, so we are quite literally giving them a call to action. We are telling them how to order, because the last thing I want my customers to be wondering is how to order. How do I get that? Because you know what? Our attention span is like nothing. And especially if you're on social media, it's like nothing. So if I can just have my customer do a heart emoji and then move on to their scrolling, and I'll message you, I'll close the order. I'll seal the deal, but you just drop a quick emoji and telling me that you want it and I'll do the rest. Because I don't want to, with every post I make, click here to order, and then they have to like click there, find it, check out, put their card information in, and then they get a notification that they have to reply to, and then they're there, and then they're not even thinking about it. And then 3 hours later, when they're thinking about it, they're like, oh, never mind. Right? So it's like, I want my customers to just drop an emoji down and let me take care of the rest. So to be honest,
Yeah.
that's pretty much, if I'm collecting orders on social media, that's pretty much how I do it.
Yeah.
And especially like if I usually close my local orders on Mondays. So like leading up to Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, on a lot of my posts, I'm putting local order closing Monday. Let me know if you need anything. Okay. Tell people exactly how to order. Flash sales, literally walk them through what to do. I can't place these orders for you. This is website only. Make sure you check out quickly, right? Set clear expectations, make it easy to order, because if you're not making it easy to order, they're not going to order from you. And chances are they're not even going to be ordering Scentsy. They're going to be picking up wax and cleaning supplies and laundry stuff at Target or Walmart. Okay. So you want to make it easy with your communication and your calls to action. Same with emails, click a button to shop, right? The buildable carts the shareable carts are really great. So if you have a customer saying, oh my gosh, I absolutely love Luna, what are some scents that you recommend? Go to your website, build a 6-pack with scents similar to Luna, and be like, oh girl, I built a cart. These are the scents that I recommend. You can add or change anything in the cart. Right. And that way it's like they literally click the link and their 6-pack is right there. And go ahead and add a pack of cotton cleanups on there for an upsell too. Like that is such a cool way to make it easier for your customers, to lead them back to you. Okay. That is the goal. When you are loving on your customers well, when you are listening to the things that they say well, when you are building relationships on those connection pieces, it is all going to pay off in your business. And so therefore you need those call to actions to be leading them back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Additionally, I was reading a post today, and it was actually some leaders who were talking about the new changes that will come with the buy 5, get 1 free, and how we can only do that on our workstation sometime in the future. And they were saying that their customers are 99% online customers, which means that they are doing their own shopping, that the consultant is not the middleman, right? That there's not that I'll do it for you mindset. So I do want to just point out that what we do is working for us because we've taught our customers how to be our customers, right? We've taught them that this easy access is just part of how we run our business.
Yep.
And that we'll take the ball out of your court because you'll drop the ball, right? And like we'll do it for you. You can train your customers the opposite way.
Totally.
Right? You can absolutely train your customers to do it themselves. In that part of it, I'm not necessarily sure what you need to do, this, that. But my guess would be is that you have to reward what you want repeated.
Yep.
So my guess is that there's just a lot of either verbal reward or happy mail, whatever, that comes at the end of them shopping online, you taking out the middleman, which we do. When people shop online on our website, we send happy mail. If I place the order for them and they're paying shipping, that's how I do it.
Yeah.
Is
if they pay shipping,
I'm giving happy mail.
Yes.
Right. But if you don't want to be the middleman, that's fine. But you have to teach your customers to then do it themselves. And you have to have the mindset that you are going to over the top reward them. And that doesn't mean spend a lot of money. Okay. Hear me very clearly, but you will have to find a way to reward them. The reward in our system is them not having to do it. Right. And then additionally, we do happy mail, but it's like they don't have to go through the hassle of doing all of that. Most of my customers would much rather hand over their credit card information than ever get on my site. Right. They're asking me to do this and I do it and it's done. And they know to be expecting the box.
And they trust you.
Right. So trust comes into that, and trust
Yep.
is going to have to come into them shopping on your website as well, right? So I just wanted to make note that if that's not something that you want to do, or that's not how you are already running your business, it's not that you're doing it the wrong way.
Totally.
This is just how we are doing it. But if that's a model that you want to move to, you can do that. But you have to teach your customers how to do that, and then you have to reward
Yep.
that. And so that's the note that I wanted
Yep.
to
No,
make
that's
there.
very good because I was very much one tracked on what we were doing. So that
Yeah.
perspective is good. Because yeah, there are a million different ways to work your business, right? So the goal here is to be leading them back to you in a
Yeah.
way that's clear communication and consistent. So if you want to be an online only store, cool.
Yeah.
Like totally
Go for
cool.
it. Yeah.
You just have to be consistent and clear on what that looks like, how they find you, how they shop, what they can expect. Again, same could be true for events, right? If you want to run your business doing shows and events, you
Yeah.
can still lead your customers to you after their purchase, right? After you're loving them well, after you've had some conversations, by asking them to tag you on social media,
Yeah.
or adding them on social media. That way you have that connection piece, or the follow-up after, whatever, right? There are a million different ways to work your business, but one thing that we do agree is that the connection, the relationship, the love,
Yeah.
we believe is essential to building your business. And to do that well, you have to listen well, but then you want to be leading those people, like give them clear communication and access to you,
Or to your website,
or to your website,
yeah.
to your business,
Yeah, to your
however
business.
that looks for you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then when you have all those things, again, they're building off of one another. Then we go to the final L, and that is launch. Okay. So this is where you're starting to introduce new areas of your business that you want these people a part of, right? So again, like Bree said, not every single person you are loving on is going to become your next VIP, party host, Cincy Clubber teammate. Okay. Sometimes you are just doing customer service well and you're not receiving it back, and that's okay because you're in business and you're getting commission check and all those beautiful things. Okay. But by loving people well, listening well, building the connections, having those systems in your business, you are going to reach a point where you are wanting, or you are ready to, or it is coming to you that your business is growing and that it's time to elevate your business. Okay. And so what you're wanting to do with this amazing group of people that you have then cultivated, right? Much like our team page, we work really hard to cultivate what we have in here. Same with my VIP group. I've worked really hard to cultivate what I have in there. You guys are working really hard to cultivate your business, and then it's time to launch into new things and to grow. Okay, so this is where that VIP customer who is now ordering washer whiffs because you've been talking about washer whiffs for a while. This is now when you have the conversation about them joining club to get it on a regular schedule and at a discount, right? This is now when you ask that customer who's ordered 3 times this month because they keep falling in love with samples that you're giving them. This is now the time that you talk to them about hosting a party to get their next round of Scentsy free and half off. Okay, this is now the opportunity where you are building connections and listening well to that mama friend who just had a new baby and is feeling totally burnt out by like mom life and poopy diapers and spit up on her. That like maybe this Scentsy business would be a really great opportunity for connection and some me time, right? This is where the magic actually happens. And this is where the depth of your customer base and your network really gets sweet. This is where you can really start building deep friendships with your network. This is also where your business grows.
Right.
Quite frankly, this is where you see, oh, my paycheck is doubling and tripling and quadrupling. Oh, I had 1 Scentsy Club subscriber and now I have 7. I have 2 parties on the books and I didn't know how to do parties a few months ago. Okay. This is where all of those pieces start coming together. It's not where you're just getting those one-time sales and celebrating them. Okay. First of all, definitely worth celebrating.
Yeah, always.
Okay. But if you watched the video Dan did about the changes coming up on March 1st, what's actually needed is growth.
Mhm.
like people growth.
Mhm.
And I'm not just talking about people joining our teams. Yes, absolutely. But I'm talking about like new customers coming into this business, because new customers are what turns into new party hosts, new Scentsy Clubbers, new teammates. Okay. So we are needing to cast our nets wide and grow our businesses. And this is where that happens in this launch category, because you are using all of these amazing foundational skills in your business and then you're growing. Okay, so this is actually the time where those join conversations are going somewhere, because you have that trust, you have that loyalty built. They believe you when you tell them that they would be great at it. They believe you when you say maybe joining Scentsy would give you some fun time, outside of just being a stay-at-home mom. They believe you because they see you smiling, doing deliveries with your coffee and your scent circle. And they see you having your girls' night with your Scentsy team, right? And so this is where,
Or you're at a really cool retreat.
yeah, or you're at a super fun retreat in San Antonio. This is where I really think things start coming together. And this is where you as a consultant start getting really excited and, in my opinion, more engaged.
Yeah.
I feel like once you hit this launch part where you are getting somewhere further than a 6-pack of bar sale,
Yeah.
that you really start feeling confident in what you're doing, and that you feel confident that you are loving well, that you are doing a good job listening, that you are allowing people to come to you by the things that you're doing. And this is a super sweet spot that you kind of want to stay in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the cool thing about this 4Ls is that ideally there is always new people coming into your business. Ideally, you're getting new customers every month, right? And so you are at different stages of these 4Ls with many different people in your business at a time. So the opportunity to grow in this is incredible. And in fact,
No limits.
there is no limits.
Yeah.
I am still learning how to love well
Yeah.
and how to listen well. I am still actively participating and leading my customers to me, because I'm getting new customers all the time. So I'm
Right.
having to really implement, this is how we do things.
Right.
I'm having to consistently share who I am with my group, so those 1 or 2 new people get to see that little glimpse of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And repetition is totally fine in this business.
Yep.
Keep sharing your favorite cat or your favorite coffee creamer or your favorite warmer or favorite scent, because then those people, they're also listening to you, and that's going to be their favorite scent, or they're going to try that coffee. They're going to think of you when they see that coffee creamer at the store, and they're going to try it. It all comes, it goes around full circle. And so, yeah, I say keep your eyes on a launching business, keep your eyes on the connection, right? Try to avoid it feeling icky or transactional, or like we are Scentsy corporate.
Right.
We are not Scentsy.com.
Right.
We are independent consultants, and we thrive in authenticity. And a lot of this is just finding out how to truly be your best at loving, at listening, at leading, right? So then you can launch.
Right. And I think the really cool part about the launch piece of it is, in my opinion, one of the best spots. And especially when you arrive there for like the first time, or you hit a different level, like you've had Scentsy Clubbers, but now you have somebody joining or whatever. Because to me, launching and doing that and having that equals skin in the game. And it's when you have skin in the game that I think the vision really comes to life. So it's not that the new consultant who's here and have dreams of, hitting top of the compensation plan and like earning trips and stuff doesn't have vision, but I think it becomes a lot more clearer and concise when you step into these areas where you're launching. And I can't wait to get to the team part of this next week, because obviously that's a big part of it. But truly, in the customer realm, when you have skin in the game with your customers, right? When you have clubbers who you have to love on, not have to, when you get to love on them, right? Or you have people who are hosting parties, and so you're responsible for creating that environment that provides a good result, responsible to a certain extent. You have skin in the game, right? There's responsibility there. There's a desire to do well by your customers because they have now given you another piece of trust. They have now given you another opportunity to show up and show out as
Mhm.
their consultant. And it creates the vision, right? For what could be beyond this.
Mhm.
What more can I do? And that's the fun part, is that by going through all these 4 L's, every time I think, oh, I could do something more, right?
Mhm.
And to me, that's not overwhelming. It's exciting
Yeah.
because I've never been like, okay, well, I'm happy here. I'm good with who I am, like
Yeah, it's like,
I
what
want to be
else?
better.
Yeah.
So yes, everything she said with a period, with an exclamation point.